So, hi, I'll just share my screen up. Um, All right, so mostly today we're going to talk about sales, but the other two things we need to talk about is when you want to go live, and if there's any outstanding things. I think on our side we've done all the things that we're supposed to do.
I think so. Just a question. You know the one of the actual forms on the picking slip. You've put total weight, but no total square meter. I've noticed.
Okay, let's have a look at that. So if we go to shipments in here.
And before we go live, we're gonna have to give you the actual stock count that we want.
Yeah, so for go live we need actual stock. We need supplier and customer opening balances. We need at least a bank account opening balance, and then depends on what you want to do for journals and things. Do you want to have some history with your journals? Do you have any other accounts that you want to have opening balances for?
Look, I'm just gonna all the suppliers, everything is gonna be zero anyway. My bank account is literally on zero, so everything's gonna be start up as easy. But the only thing that I wanna ask my accountant, I'll ask my accountant, I'll get back to you, is if we should put how that suppliers has helped, like we have a debt with them, like a director's loan, but it's really with them. I will get back to you on that one.
Okay. So we will need. So you've got zero money in the bank as well?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
So the entry then will just be stock on hand and owner's equity.
Yeah, pretty much like that. Well, we've started off because all my suppliers now that are using us, I'm gonna leave them invoiced with this company, like that. It's already invoiced with.
Yeah. Okay. So opening balance will just be stock on hand and capital, or owner's equity, or whatever you call that account. So that's easy. So then customers and suppliers will both be zero and just be stock. Yeah.
Much.
All right. So let's have a look at this one, picking ticket. A lady called Manpreet did this, so I thought it was okay, but let's have a look. Right, so what have we got? Total square meters, total weight. Is this the one you were looking at?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. You're going to send me this one.
Okay, because this one looks okay.
Yeah.
So in your system, it's just shipment number 6, but I can send it to you as well.
Oh, that's okay. All right. When you sent me all those forms, I noticed that I wasn't on there, but. Yeah.
I think she's sorted it out by the looks of it. So this.
What the hell? No, it's wrong.
What have we got? So, guys, I believe you've done that, right? We've updated that. So. You've done that as well. Okay, so in that document, there's nothing left outstanding. That's good.
If I want to change something myself with the forms, how do I go about doing that on the program?
I can show you. It can be fiddly. If you're just doing cosmetic changes, though, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to do is download the little form program. So if you go to downloads, My Advanced Files, tools there. It's this one here, Download Report Designer. So what that does is download a little zip file. It's not very big, with some files in it. And then, so it looks like this. Just going to get rid of that stuff, don't need that. So inside there, if we extract that out, there's some, there's 56 files to be precise. They're the things that run when you use it. Okay, so this is the important one: report designer application.
Yeah.
So what you do is extract that somewhere that you know, and then open up a report that you want to alter. So if I go, we are recording this, right? Because this is going to be a little bit tricky, but as long as you got a record, you'll be right. So for example, that pick list, right? So if we open that up, or any other report, and then click on the edit button, it should be with us in a second. Okay, so if I click on this button here,
yeah.
and then on report versions, there's been a few versions to this report. Okay, so the latest version is always down the bottom, and it will normally have an active thing there. Yeah. So if I go edit that version, that downloads a little report file called whatever, that will change, but it'll always say RPS at the end.
Yeah.
And then if you open that up, so that's it there. The very first time you'll have to say, I want to open this file with the report designer file that I showed you a minute ago, but I've already done that, so it's not asking me that. So here it's just saying it's opening it from A grade, it's opening that report, and it needs a login over this side. So I'll just grab your password. So if I put your password into here, the report looks like this. Oh, where is it? There we go. All right. So that's what the report looks like. So it can get complicated, but also not necessarily. Depends on what you want to do, right? So if you wanted to change some of this stuff, the headings, right, that's going to be pretty easy to do. So say square meters looks a bit weird, to be honest. Is that the right way to spell that, would you say?
No.
No. So what will we change that to?
Total square.
SQM?
You just need to do, yeah, SQM. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. So you could make that change yourself, right? We just
okay, how about if I want to put I just want to ask, okay, if I want to put now, you know, like how total weight stays on there, and when I come when I come to actually and it calculates, for example, if I want something there stored like permanently, how do I go and add a box?
So another box.
Yeah, but
so
permanently
like down
stays.
Here we've got total weight. Yeah, well, so that will permanently stay. But the easiest way is to copy something and then paste it back in. So if you want to add total, so if I've got total weight and total square meters, right, that's the headings. And then in here's a formula. And I wouldn't be comfortable myself writing this formula. But our report writing people are quite good at that sort of stuff, right? But if you wanted to copy, just Control C, Control V, right? And then I've got another piece of text I can then format, and
you can
or whatever.
Just change the writing.
Yeah. So over here you can change it. So if you're making cosmetic changes, it's going to be changing that value there. Maybe changing some stuff in this style section, right? So you can change the colors.
Yeah, the colors.
Yeah. So like you can change the color there.
Now, how about the box colors? You know those the boxes going through like the lines. You know how they're dark?
Let's have a look at the original report. It's good if you've got two screens, because then you can kind of look at your report writer on one screen and your actual report on the other screen. So which lines are we talking about?
Oh, well, it's not on this one. It's on the other ones. They have, those long lines going through, like the thick ones. They're highlighted. Yeah, this one.
Okay, well, I'd have to open one of those other ones up. But that's the design of that one.
So that's okay. But so what do I do now if I've changed something? Do I save it and then I import it back?
Yeah. So we've saved it. So we've changed that square meters to say whatever we changed it to. So if we go File, Save to Server, so that saves it back up into the cloud, right? Save to Server, and usually you'd save it as a new version and not overwrite the old one, so that you can still got the old one. And I normally put my initials at the start, so I know I did it. So I'd say that's my initials, and then update square meter. Something about what I did, right? So then when I click OK on that, it loads it back up to the cloud. And then if I were to come back into here and refresh this, so that's the latest version there, right?
Okay.
So then if we were to run that again, it'll have that change on it. There you go, total square meter.
Perfect. Okay.
So that kind of change you can do. If more complicated stuff where you have to link tables in and all that sort of stuff, I wouldn't try and do that yourselves. But yeah. The only other thing I was going to look at was, so this, we were maintaining this for a while as well, and that seems to be completed as well. So I think you're, as far as I am aware, everything is completed except for we need to do some more sales or do some sales training now. And then it's up to you whether you're comfortable that everything's okay for go live, and then we can do that.
Didn't you say we got something about the ledgers and that? You're going to show us that? Your accounts?
Sorry, ledgers?
Yeah, the general ledgers.
Did you say? General ledger? Yeah. So do you want to talk about that first?
Yeah, but you said you got to train us on that. Does that need to be trained on? Well, not really.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I can. So from the general ledger perspective, mostly it comes down to the chart of accounts. Okay, so you've got obviously a chart, and you would have given this to probably Jody at the start sometime. So that's all loaded, ready to go. Adding a new account, you can just click add there. You need to give it a number, a category that it belongs to, and a name. So that's pretty straightforward. Usually your reports are going to be run based on these categories, so they're quite important, so that'll be the thing that drives it. It'll go in the asset section. That's the thing that drives it'll be in the fixed asset section. Other than that, if you are doing general journals, finance and journal transactions is where you would do a new journal. A lot of businesses don't really do a lot of journals. Because most of it, like you can see here, is coming from accounts payable with the AP next to it, or coming from inventory with the IN next to it. But if you were doing a journal, it would just be add, putting in your date up the top.
But these get done automatically once you do process anything, right?
Yeah. So it'll just be, the only reason you come in here is for opening balances or some adjustments or that sort of thing. 99% of the time you would be doing it through accounts payable or accounts receivable or inventory or a banking transaction. You would rarely do a general journal. So every transaction you do, right? So if we went into payables, for example, and went to the bills, every transaction that we've done in the past in the payables module has automatically created journals. So I'll just show you how to see that. Is it not going there?
Also, one more thing. Now, for example, I get a truck. I purchase a vehicle, and mechanic has done some work on my vehicle, and how in like the normal MYOB programs, you can change the layout from item, description, service, the layouts. Is that can you do that there or no? Because sometimes the mechanic done a service on your car, for example. There's no item attached to that.
Yeah,
it's just
I'm not familiar with that other accounting system, but what you can do. So if this is a bill for a car service or something, it's the same area, bills and adjustments. Okay, so it's still payable, still bills and adjustments. We just click add here, and then you would pick your mechanic as the supplier.
Yep.
So if they're in there, I'm not sure.
They're not. Just a random one. I'll add it on as I go. So if I add a new customer.
Yeah. So let's pretend it was that guy, and then your invoice number. So you can skip over this inventory part here and just go straight to the account number. So if I went
like vehicle expenses or something like that.
Yeah. Vehicle, maybe motor.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, cool. So that one, and then I can just put in my amount. So let's say it was $300. It's including the GST.
Mm.
That's enough to get that transaction done. So you just really need an account and an amount. So let's just move these so it makes it a bit easier to read. We'll put that on there.
Say for example, you don't want the GST. Oh, is that amount now $300? That's including GST. Say I want the unit cost to be without GST, because that's what we usually do. Usually we do without GST, and the GST gets added.
Because we set it up that way. So with suppliers, you can have it flick between the two. Because in sales, I think you did want it with GST, if I remember correctly. For suppliers, though,
Usually they all give us the amount plus GST.
Yeah. So if this supplier was a supplier who did an amount then plus GST, then they would be net, and at the moment they're gross. So if I just move forward to number 4 and went net, all right. So then you've got the best of both worlds. So I'm just going to release this one to show you what happens in the general ledger. So that was $300 including GST, because they're set up as gross from a tax perspective. So if I do number 4 now, and they're set up as net, same deal. I put an account in here, some sort of expense. Let's just say it was a bank fee. And then I put my $10 there. That's going to add the $10. So I'll have the 10, then add the 1. Okay, so that way you can cater for either type of invoice that people give you. And then this is the effect of what we came in here for, the effect of the general ledger of that, right? So if I click on the financial part, once the document's been released, a batch number will show up here. So I can just click on that batch number, and then it will show me what happened in the general ledger. So some trade creditors, bank fees, and some GST. In that particular instance, so it originated from the AP module, right? And looking at it from another angle, if I go on to here and go general transactions, that's that same transaction there, saying it originated in AP, it's $11, and you can drill at it from that perspective as well.
I've got a question. If, for example, we have tolls that come out of our direct debits every month. So when we start this new thing, it's going to be the same. However, they're not going to give me invoices every time. So what it is, with our MYB that we use now, we have a spend money option. So it goes automatically. I can just press spend money, and it will take it off without me doing like any invoicing. It's just like I've expensed this $1,000 a month, like every time it comes out. I just go to spend money and I do it. Is there an option like that?
Yeah, so the equivalent of spend money is a banking transaction. So if you go to banking and then transactions, this is actually the equivalent of spend money and receive money. So if I click new here, so you need to pick out of which bank account that you're spending or receiving money. Okay, so your operating account. And then over here, this is the determining whether it's going to be a payment out or a receipt in.
Oh, so that's like receive money and spend money is in the same transaction.
Same screen for both. Yeah. So if I'm doing a payment, some sort of document number, and then down here, again, we ignore the item. We can just go straight to some sort of fee.
But I have
tolls. Oh, you might not have tolls yet.
Yeah, we need to add that one actually.
Yeah, cool. We'll put it to fee for a second. Let's say it was legal fees. And then you just put your amount in, right? So, and then that's the equivalent of spend money. So $900 plus some GST.
Oh, so you won't have to put which customer you spent it, like who it went to?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you want to put who it went to, then you have to put an invoice in first.
Okay.
So, but you can have, tolls for the quarter or something there.
Mm.
But that's just an amount out of your bank and into an expense account. And again, if you go to financial details, you'll see a batch number, so you can see what happened in the general ledger. In this case, out of your bank account, credit to your bank account, some GST and legal fees as the expense. So let's add that tolls one, right? So the good way to do that, go to your chart, and then we know it's going to be an expense, right? So maybe we'll go up here and just show the expenses in here, so we can see, you know, just what's going on with expenses. So you've got expenses just categorized as expense and not really any granular breakdown. Okay, so they're all kind of in here. So I would try and keep it alphabetical. Yeah, so in between these two, I would suggest is the best place. So account number, if you're happy with that, 63510 would work. So if we go 63510 expense, and then tolls.
I would say we can
just tolls. I'll just call it tolls and then just save it, right? So then you've got an expense account called tolls. Oh, I gave it the wrong number. I meant to have 63 there. So, oh, by the way, you can change the number if you want.
Why is that one on summary and the rest are on detail for post operation option?
I don't know, when you set it up like that, it just defaults.
Oh, okay. I just don't know the difference. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, there isn't a big difference. I'm not sure that it makes any difference. But what does make a difference is that I put it in the wrong spot because I was trying to get it alphabetical. So I've got this account number here, right? And it's not right. So I'm going to just change it to a 3. And then once I try and save it, it'll go, are you sure you want to change this? Say yes. And then it'll move it down to where I wanted it to go, which was here.
Oh, you've done it in alphabetical order.
Yeah. Which makes it easier to find stuff. I mean, it's not all in alphabetical because you've got some different stuff up here, but in any event, that's how you add a, and when your business gets bigger, maybe you want to break this class down into, you know, you might want to have motor vehicle expenses and travel expenses and a few other different categories so you can see it a bit more easily on your profit and loss and that sort of stuff. I think because you're such a low volume business, we can kind of get you up and running and go live, sort of like in a soft go live, because you're not going to have 20 people all using the system on day one and all going, oh my God, how do I do things? So let's just get you to the point where you're pretty comfortable. We'll remove all the data. We'll get your opening balances sorted, and then you can sort of slowly just go live with it, I think. So for sales, do you want to talk about sales now?
Yep.
All right. So sales, if they have anything to do with inventory, are always going to go through this sales orders module. Okay. Now, there's different types of sales orders that we can use, but we don't have to. So you could go, I'm going to do a quote, then I'm going to do an order, then I'm going to do an invoice, or you could just start an order, or you could just start an invoice. Sort of what's most typical for you.
Let's start from the beginning, so that way we have all the options, and then because then obviously after we can just easily from sales order, we can just know what we're going to do after that, because I want to start off with at a quote. Say for example we do provide that quote. What's the quote? Then we'll go, because from sales order we'll know what to do next anyway, because we can just click new sale instead of or new order, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about the document types then. So no matter what type of thing I'm doing, it's always going to be sales orders. And then sales orders. So the sales order module and sales order transaction type. And then we'll click add. So same as all the other screens. So whether it's a quote or an order or an invoice, all comes down to this order type up the top. So at the moment it's defaulting with SO, meaning sales order. if I go into here, I can start at a quote if I wanted to, or I can start at an invoice if I wanted to, or I can start at a sales order if I wanted to. And there's a few other different ones in there as well, but
you would never,
we won't talk.
Sorry, you would never start off as an invoice because you won't be. Would you still get the picking list if you do?
The main reason you would start up as an invoice is if someone came in and said, "Look, I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. I'm just going to come collect some stuff," and you didn't need a picking ticket.
Okay.
It just makes the process quicker, but it doesn't do a picking ticket. Yeah. Okay. So you might say that my process is always going to be sales order. There are 2 sales orders, so I will quickly tell you about them, just in case you want to use the other one. So sales order with allocation versus sales order. So what that means, if I do a sales order with allocation, that means I'm reserving the stock for that particular sales order. Okay. So, you might have a special order that comes in and that's for a particular customer. So in that case, you would do a sales order with allocation, which means it's going to reserve that stock, and you won't be able to ship it or sell it to anyone else. Otherwise, a sales order will just be everyone's just placing orders, and whichever one I get to first is going to get the stock. So do you have any reason to do sales order with allocation?
Sometimes we do have customers that have a big order that we don't release it straight away, so it's like progressively released.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to make sure that you don't accidentally sell the stock to someone else, you want to do sales order with allocation on that occasion. Otherwise, most of the time you'll do sales order, right? So the order number will come through when you save it, like all the other screens. The date comes from here, obviously. And then the requested on date is a new field for you, which is just going to be a field that they say, look, I want to place an order now, but I don't need it till next month. Okay, so you can change that. Customer order number. If they give you a purchase order number, you can punch that in there. It's optional. External reference number is another number that's also optional, and usually it comes from another system. So if you had a point of sale system or a CRM system or some other system that integrated, maybe that would pull in a number there. But you guys don't have that, so you could use that number for whatever you wanted to use it for, or not use it at all. So customer, so you're picking our customer, and then currency in that you only sell in Australian dollars, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can leave that alone. All right, so then down the bottom here, we're adding in what we're actually selling. And there's a lot of columns here, right? So we'll tidy this up in a minute because this is probably too much. Right, so if I click on this button, it's going to show me all of the items that are in the system, okay? Every single one. If I click on this button, it's going to show me only the items that I have in stock, okay? And it's going to give me the quantities as well. You can untick that and it will show all items, including those that aren't in stock. But by default, it's going to show the stuff that is in stock. Okay, so I'm going to tick a couple of things in there and click add and close, and then that will add those 2 items to the sales order. All right. So things like free item, we'll just move off to the edge for a second. So if it was for me, you've only got one warehouse, so you probably don't need that. I would probably have quantity up the front here. So how many am I getting? Maybe there.
Are you just sorry, are you right clicking to get rid of these?
Left clicking and dragging. Yeah. So quantity on shipments will want, even though you can't enter into that field, you want it for later. So let's just. So
I'm talking about deleting here, columns. If you want to delete columns.
If I want to delete them, so what I've got is, I reckon, let's start with the 6 columns or 7 columns or whatever. So if I click this button over here and then go, basically, I don't want that column onwards for now. Maybe I do want the tax category, but all the others. All right, so just make that screen simpler to use. And then if I go up here and I go share column configuration, then that's going to share that to both of you. So when you get in here and do your testing, or you'll see this simpler column layout. Okay.
So is this plus?
So remember,
is this plus GST or including GST?
Well, let's make it easier to read. So let's just say that was $10 and that was $20. So it's excluding
30
GST.
plus.
And then,
that's what we want. 30 plus GST. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So the things you will be changing in here are, maybe the quantity ordered, and maybe the price. The GST will, come through. It probably doesn't need changing. So remembering I'm giving you the sort of the basics, because there are all of these things we could be doing, but I don't think we need to at this point in time. So the first thing then would be to print out or email sales order. So if we print it, see what it looks like and see if we need to do anything with it. Okay, so that's what your sales order currently looks like. So if you want that altered, let us know, and Manpreet will do it for you. If you want to have a go with the report writing tool, feel free. But that's what it looks like currently. So then the next part of this process would be to at some point ship this. Okay. And it really depends on how sophisticated you want to be. So let me show you some examples of what you could do if you want, or maybe you do later on. But just to give you some thoughts on how you could run the business. Not compulsory, but we'll let that warm up. But the next process is going to be determine which sales orders I want to ship, right? So you can do that a few different ways. If I go back to this sales order screen, there's the simplest way is probably put a filter on here, right? So if I go filter here and go, I just want to see the open sales orders, okay? So the ones that need to be shipped equals open. And if I save that as open sales orders, and maybe even make it the default one and share it with other people, then when I come into this screen, I'm just going to see the open ones. I'm not going to see all the old ones, right? And so maybe that's all you need to be able to go, okay, that one's open, let's ship it. So you can drill into it. Or you could, that's still warming up. So let's do that for now. So I'm going to drill into there.
At this point, so for example, they changed their mind. They don't want to go through with the order. Before we get shipment, can I delete this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It can. Depends how you want to track stuff. You might want to track things where customers have cancelled things. So it's up to you. You can definitely just delete it.
Okay.
Or you could cancel it instead, so that it stays in the system, and you can see a history of them going, yeah, you're always cancelling my orders, what are you doing? That sort of stuff. Or you could go full on like this, right? You could have a dashboard that goes, well, what are my open quotes? What are my open orders? What are my things that are on hold? What's waiting for shipment? What's, all these different categories. So all of this stuff obviously is available. The first point of doing this is to decide what it is you want to track. Okay, so these guys have chosen to track that stuff and different things in different states and all that sort of stuff. All of that's possible, so just keep that in the back of your mind. But at the moment, we've just got a sales order and we want to ship it. Okay, so if I go to create shipment here, it takes that sales order and goes, all right, you've requested this on the 29th. It is the 29th. So it will let me go forward. If it wasn't needed yet, it would say there's no items here that need to be shipped at this point in time. But in this example, that's fine. Okay, so this is now converted to a shipment document. So it's got a new number. So you need to be aware of that.
You can still delete at this point as well.
You can still delete at this point too. Yep. You start not being able to delete stuff when you confirm the shipment. So if you've said those goods have left, i.e. I'm confirming that they've now been shipped, then you start having to get into reversing stuff out. Okay. So off of this document, this is where we've got our pick lists, which we saw a minute ago, and we've got our shipment confirmation. So they're the two reports that you'd print at this stage. This is also the place where you might change this shipped quantity, okay? So they ordered 2 and 4, but let's say we only wanted to ship them 3 for whatever reason.
So you know the shipment confirmation, if you print it, is that like a delivery docket?
Yes. Yeah, it's the same document.
So I have DSD assist. So I have DSD assist who's going to do that. There's no logo on that.
Yep, I can see that. I'll get Manpreet to put a logo on it. She also needs to fix that down there.
And are these meant to have images on them too? So the delivery docket is with DSD assist. Is I don't know what
DSD assist is. What is DSD assist?
Apparently, it's like it works with MYOB. And it does the delivery dockets. It's like on a little screen. You put it in, and then they can sign it, and then all the delivery docket with the sign or a photo gets uploaded to MYOB, and it stays there for 7 years, like a delivery docket signed, but it's electronically signed.
So in that case, you might not even need this. If DSD assist is taking over at that point and going, don't worry about it, I'll deal with the delivery docket and the photos and the signatures.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't be worth modifying.
I want my logo still on it.
Okay, even though you might never use this form?
Just in case.
Just in case. All right, cool. I'll just get Manpreet to tidy it up.
Can we put the images on that too?
Yep.
The images and the logo.
Yeah. Docket for A grade. I'll CC you, Rania, so that because I don't need to be involved in back and forth with this stuff, so I'll just so we need a logo here, and we need some images here. So we need that and that. And down here, we need whatever's going on in here to be fixed up too. Do you want the square meters and?
Yeah, total square and,
yeah.
And Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's what I forgot that one. No.
Okay, just get her to tie those up. So you can go back and forth with her about that, but that's the initial. We're just saying, hi Manpreet, can you tie this up in live, please? Liaise with Rania. How do you spell liaise? Obviously not like that. Talk with Rania. There we go. That'll sort that problem out. All right. Okay. Now DSD assist. If they're taking over at this point and putting something on a handheld, right? It is like when the when the postie comes to your door, is it? And they take a photo.
That's
and then
correct.
they get you to sign something.
You take a photo, sign it, and then it goes. Thing. I have to speak with Andrew anyway. I'll speak to Andrew about it.
So how does that work, and who's responsible for doing that and all that kind of stuff?
Andrew. So he's going to show me how it.
Who's Andrew?
That's the owner of these places.
It's a third party, Travis.
Okay. Usually at a minimum, they need us to set up a user for them. They might ask us to do some other things as well. I
think he's already on there. He's already on there.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you just make sure that, or let's write him an email now, if that's all right, and just go, do you need anything from anyone?
I'll speak to him. I'll speak to him. But let's just go through with that one. Let's continue.
You sure you don't want me to just say it's all ready to go? Do you need anything?
Oh no, he spoke to me last, so like he knows that we're almost ready. But he's already showed me, because his side's already done. So he's actually linked them all on, all the items, all the photos, everything's already on.
Okay, so so he must, like I'm more than happy to go. There's stuff I don't need to know, and I just don't need to know. But what I do need to know is, like, if he's dealing with this, does he send something back into Advanced going, yes, that's been done now?
Yeah, so like the attachments there'll be an attachment with the photo, the signed copy on record.
So does he come in and confirm that the shipment has happened or something? Like,
no, we still have to confirm it, because we have to still invoice it. They just the delivery docket signed. It's just a proof of a delivery docket signature.
Because quite often, like those kind of programs, they'll come in and go, all right, I'm going to take the delivery docket, and then I'm going to write back to Advance that that's done. Like, they're going to come in and they're going to go, and they might even create the shipment part, right?
No, they won't. This one's just the delivery. This one's just the delivery, solely delivery. After delivery, it confirms it, and then it comes onto the folder in MIOB of the actual copy of it, the delivery docket.
Just up in here.
Mm.
Okay, Katrina, have you seen it working?
No, sorry, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm just thinking 90% of the time I've seen that kind of thing, they also click this button. Okay, they take the photo, they get someone to sign it, and then it automatically clicks that button. Okay. You know, it's confirmed now. So I don't know if it's doing that. I don't really need to know, as long as you guys know, but I'd be surprised if you're manually clicking that button.
Okay. I'll ask you.
Yep. And then after that is prepare invoice. So we've got the order. We've gone through the picking ticket part.
So just on that, okay, I've noticed here, because this is what I want to know anyway, since we're on this page. So what we've ordered 4 items of the second item, like inventory, but we only shipped out 3. So there was 1 on back order.
Yes.
So what happened? How would I know what's still on back order?
Yep, I'll just get it to invoice and then I'll show you. So yeah, you're right. This one here, 2 items shipped 2, ordered 2, shipped 3, ordered 4. Okay. So we'll prepare that through to invoice stage.
Mm.
And then, at that point, someone owes you money. This is a bit laggy because I think because of the video and also the recording. So it's not as laggy in real life. All right, so that's the invoice, that's done. So then if we were to come back to the sales orders, go here. This one here is now has status of back order, okay, because we couldn't ship it all. So it doesn't become
he went and got it from somewhere else. He doesn't want to wait 3 weeks for it to come in.
So he doesn't want it anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So first thing though is to be able to identify which things are back order. It's done through statuses, okay? And again, we could create a filter for this, and because I'm doing it in live, all of this will be there when you go and have a look. So let's go back order, and let's save this as a filter. So we'll go status equals back orders, back order, save. Back ordered. Let's call it back ordered. Okay. All right. So now we've got a tab with open sales orders where there's none at the moment, back ordered sales orders, and all sales orders. Okay. So if I go to back ordered here, and I click it, and your options are at this point, if you do want to ship it, you can ship it again, right? To do that remaining item.
Okay.
Or if you don't, so here we've got quantity here of 1. We can add in another field called cancelled. It's called cancelled. I think it's called completed. So you can tick it as complete, and that's the end of that line. Or you could go up here and go
and what do you do
the whole
after?
order or
Okay,
cancel
and
the
just
order.
save it.
Yeah.
When you
but it's
write
not going
cancel
any
order,
further.
if it's cancel order, it's just that one item that gets cancelled, yeah? Because you've shipped everything else.
Yes. Yeah. Sales order cannot be cancelled because some items been shipped. Okay, so we have to complete it then. Go complete order. And then it marks it as complete. Okay, and it'll complete the lines as well. So then if we go into here, it's no longer in the back ordered section. It's now in a completed status.
And then if he wants the back order, you go to confirm shipment and you do the normal, that's what you've done before.
Yeah, you go through the exact same thing. You just open it up and go create shipment, and it'll go, all right, this time I'm only doing 1 because there's only 1 left. And yeah.
Okay, sorry. You create the open sales order filter.
You can put completed ones.
But here I can't see that on my.
You can't see on my way.
But the back order I have it here, but that one no.
You're not the open one?
I don't have that on my screen.
Okay, I'm going to try again. So I'm going to try and share it with you. You might have to refresh here. No?
No.
Okay. Well, you can create it yourself if you go
So you know
to.
what? On the back order, you just shared.
Yeah.
And then I think that's why I can't see that.
Okay.
No, just take
it like that. Yeah.
I'll refresh again.
Maybe can we put completed orders as well as an option?
Yeah.
No?
Now I have it.
Okay, great. So what we'll do is add another one. So we'll go here. So new, and we'll go status equals completed. Save. Completed orders, and this time I'll just do shared. That seemed to have worked better. Yep, so we've got completed orders, back orders, open ones that are specifically tagged with me on them, and then all orders. Cool.
Yeah, completed orders. I don't think you shared it. Sorry.
Shared should be.
You didn't save it.
I save right now.
Refresh. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, so that might be the way you manage it. And then when you get bigger and bigger, something more along these lines, to break things
That
down
actually
into
makes
different
my head hurt.
categories. And yeah, okay. All right. We'll stop looking at that then.
Too much
All
there.
right. Yeah. I'm just trying to show you what you could do.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it actually does. It's too much there.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So for you guys, for now, you've guys got these tabs. Okay. So that was a sales order. If we do a similar thing, so I click add. If we started life out as a quote, right? So QT. This screen doesn't change. It's exactly the same screen. So I'm going to pick my things. I'm going to pick my customer. I'm going to pick my items down here. So far exactly the same, right? I'm going to put in a quantity.
Yeah.
I may or may not change my price. So if I go up here and I go print quote, this quote is exactly the same as your sales order, except it says quote up the top. So it's the same form, right? The only thing that changes is this word here. This is just putting it basically into another bucket.
Can we get rid of the discount? You know that this is discount. I don't want. Should we have discount on there?
Sure. Yeah. Because Manpreet's dealing with that and you're introduced to her, just tell her what you want and she'll do it for you. Because otherwise it's just me saying, Ronnie wants this, and then back and forth.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just easier if you do it. Yeah. Now that didn't work for some reason. Didn't generate a number. Why didn't it generate a number? Right. So at the moment, these numbers are the same SO as. So I'd probably change that so you'd have a unique numbering system for quotes, so you can see QT at the start instead.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do that. So this isn't something you need to remember. This is just me doing a small bit of setup. I'm just going to grab up the sales orders and change it. Sales order.
Also, Travis, I'm gonna need you to train me on adjustments of inventory amounts. So, say for example, like because we have a big warehouse, and say for example, I've missed 50 quantities after you've put them in. I want to know how to adjust the inventory without making doing an invoice.
Yeah, cool. We'll show you that in 1 second. I'm just going to do this.
Sometimes the items returns and that item has 40. We have to. We can use it,
Okay. So I've just changed the numbering sequence so it's a bit clearer as to what document we're talking about. So let's just quickly do the quotes. I'll just show you the slide.
Yeah, let's finish as in we complete the whole order.
Yeah, so I'll just do this one. So same as before, except it's QT at the top, right? Which will mean it'll generate a number that starts with QT now. Add my items in, a couple of items, save, and remove from whole. All right, so the main difference here is that when I print it, it's going to say quote up the top. So that's one difference. And the other thing is just in here, it's going to be in, it's going to have a different document type. So again, we could come here, right, and we could create another filter and go document type equals quote, order type equals quote. Save quotes, shared, apply. Okay, so we got a couple of quotes in there. Right, so then a quote different to a sales order, only that it does those things. But at some point, you are going to create an order out of this. Now, this is badly written English, I believe, but copy order doesn't mean copy the quote to another quote. It means copy to an order. Okay, so it's not great English. But if we go copy order, what it's going to actually do is create a
sales order of that quote.
Sales order from the quote. Yeah. So I don't love the terminology, but what it's doing is taking that quote and making a sales order out of it. Okay.
And that will automatically sequence as the next order number.
Yeah, as a sales order. So quotes have their own number in sequence, invoices have their own numbering sequence, quotes have their own numbering sequence. All right. So then it's the same from that point onwards. Okay, so then you're doing your shipment, you're picking tickets, all of that sort of stuff, making invoices. The SA document type is going to be the same again, like even more similar, but it's going to reserve the stock. Okay, so if I go into here and go,
what are you doing now? What's SA?
That's the sales order with allocation. That's when it's reserving the stock. Do you want to see that or not? You don't need to see that.
That's fine. I just want to know what SA was.
Yeah, sales order with allocation. So if I go add items here, right, and I pick this one, right, so I've only got 9 available at the moment, okay? And let's say that these people are ordering all 9 of those. Right, so now this item number, which I'm just going to copy so don't forget it. That item number is all reserved for this guy here, okay, because it's a sales order with allocation. So if I then go and create another sales order, which is just, I go back to my regular SO type sales order and I pick another customer and order that same item. And maybe he wants 3 of them, right? Then when I go create shipment, and I haven't tested this, but it should say you don't have any to ship when you try and ship it. So I'm trying to confirm. I'm doing shipped quantity 1 saying 1, ordered 3, 1 that wants to ship. Let's try 3. There might be something happening with that item that I'd have to look into, but that's not what I expected to happen. I was expecting it wouldn't allow me to do that because those 9 are already reserved for the other person, but it did allow me to do it. That's not what I expected to happen. Might have to look at why that was.
Can we have 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll talk to you in 5. Yeah, I'll have 5 as well.
I'll give the boy and I'll talk to that. And I'll talk to me. What? Yeah, and she said that. I'll just see it. Yeah, okay. Yes.
Shiva, I
Yeah.
was just talking to, I sent Jane a message about the payroll, and she said what happened was she sent you an email to get some questions before you can get the payroll training done. Did you get that, or do you want me to forward it to you? She sent on the 24th.
What's her name? Sorry.
Jane Tong.
Yeah. So this question, this is the thing that Rania needs to answer.
Okay, so I can't book your payroll training until she gets that. So she said to me, once she gets all that information back, she needs a day to set up the system, and then I can book the training for you.
Oh, okay.
So if you can talk to Rania when she can do that, and then I can schedule that training again for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that okay?
I'll remind Rania.
Yeah. So once Jane has that a response back to that email, we can. We'll give Jane a day or two to set up, and then I can do the payroll, like organise that payroll training for you.
Yeah. Okay. Rania got customer and she said continue until she comes back. Okay.
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 The customers say they can't wait.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So that only thing was a bit odd that it didn't reserve the stock. Why didn't it do that? Katrina, if you're writing notes, can you just put that on my to-do list just to try and figure that out?
Sorry, I'll shut the door. What do you want me to do, Travis?
Just if you're writing a list of action points, just figure out why that sales order didn't allocate the stock. Because I was surprised that it let me ship that just then.
Okay. It'll be good when Rania contacts Andrew from that the other freight place, because I think they have a sandbox, so she'll be able to test them and see how it goes in the other sandbox, then come back. Can't think what the system's called.
If it's a sandbox based on this one, it would be the same, I would have thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I'm sure if I can focus.
All right, I've just written that down.
I'll probably figure it out. Right. So, any thoughts on that process then? Because it's the same screen. Just really depends on what document type you start with. Otherwise, they're all pushing toward shipping and invoicing. The only other one, which you said you wouldn't use, but I'll just mention, if you went IN, you would bypass that shipping stage. It would just automatically ship. It wouldn't print any shipping documents. So it's just a quick way of of getting something processed through the system. Okay. And then obviously you can see there's a whole bunch.
To invoice, it's automatically generates the picking list and delivery dockets.
It doesn't do those.
No.
Direct to invoice. No. It just goes straight to invoice. So if you want the picking ticket, start with this one.
Okay. So why we need the invoice to then?
Well, you might never use it. It's some customers like they might have someone saying, "I'm coming over, I'm picking up a thing," and they go, "Great, it's here. We're waiting at the front desk for you." And they'll go straight to invoice.
So if we invoice that, it will be deducted from the stock or not?
Yes, it will. It just doesn't go through the stages that the sales order.
And there won't be any delivery docket to sign or such.
No. So it sounds to me like
that.
You would want to do that one all the time.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. And then so you've got some other ones here as well. Rather than explain or show them all, I'll just tell you what they do for now, and then if you have cause to use them when you go live, maybe then we'll go through them, because it makes this training quite long to go through every document type. But basically what we've got here is return for replacement, or return with replacement, means that your customer has returned the goods, so you're doing a reverse shipment, so you're receiving those goods in, but then you're also doing another shipment back out again. So that will make you do both of those processes. The other thing is I've got some documents on all of these that I can put in your Dropbox if I haven't already. It's already in here. So in here, there's documents about all of those other document types. So if you want any more information, you've got your sales credit with return, without return, returning money, all of that's return for replacement. It's got all of those scenarios in there, so you're welcome to have a look at those. So return for credit means that they're going to return the goods and you're going to give them their money back or put a credit note in. Okay. Just a credit memo means that they're not going to return the goods, they're just going to do a credit. So you've got a few. Actually, that's not the case with that one. I'll show you how to do a credit memo later. And then you've got a couple here which are cash. So the main difference with those cash ones is that as soon as you release the document, money goes into your bank account. So it's not an invoice waiting for money scenario. They're standing right in front of me, and I'm just doing a cash sale, even though it might be a POS sale. It just means that the money is going straight into your bank account, as opposed to later on receiving the money. Yeah. So like I said, there's 10 document types there. You need to focus mostly on that one. All right. So then once all that's happened in the sales order module, and as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff we're not talking about. So I'm just trying to keep it as relevant as possible. It will make its way into the receivables module. Okay, so anything to do with stock and that kind of stuff is going to be in sales orders or inventory. But then once it gets to receivables, that's all about people who owe you money. Okay. So in here, we've got invoices and memos, which is all of the stuff that came from sales orders and is now an invoice waiting to be received against. Okay, so we've currently got 2. So the receipt of money can happen a couple different ways. So I'll show you both of them. We've got 2 examples here. So one of them would be that I would grab up my invoice. And then from here, I would just go pay, right? And then I could put my the cash through. So this customer has paid me with whatever payment method you want to select. You know, it could be direct deposit. Maybe that's more likely. And then down here into which bank account? Okay, into our operating account. So that's one way of doing it. And that's a payment amount of $88 for the invoice down here, which is also $88. And then you've got sort of different permutations on that as well. You know, they could have paid you less, but like I said, I'm trying to stick to the most common scenario in that they actually paid you the correct amount. So that's one, and you could go release on that. What would then happen is that an amount of $88 would hit your bank account, and they no longer owe you money. So we can see that if we go to financial and drill into the batch number. So an amount hit your bank account went up by $88. Your trade debtors went down by $88. And if you were to look at this customer accounts and National Aluminium, so a very popular one is this customer details inquiry. If I have a look at National Aluminium, that one, I would see nothing in this bottom section, meaning I don't owe them any money, they don't owe me any money, nothing's outstanding. But if I click on show all documents, that's going to show me that that invoice has gone through but is now closed, i.e. it's being dealt with, and this payment has gone through and it's also closed, which means it's being dealt with. So in this case, that payment obviously relates to that invoice and both documents got closed at the same time. Okay.
That shows you the activity summary.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a very popular screen for, you know, what's happening on my account. The only gotcha with it is that when you first come in there, it'll look blank if everything's already dealt with. So if we were to go to, let's close that because that can, you know, that one. But if we go back to receivables and back to here, the other so that invoice is closed. The other one, Glass Edge, right? So if we went here and had a look at Glass Edge, when I first come in here, it's going to show me that document because it's got that status of open. Okay. Yeah. So I don't have to click show all documents in this case because it's already showing me the open stuff. Yeah. So another way that you could get money from someone would be to go receivables. Receivables and go payments and applications. So they've come, you know, however it is, whether they've called you, whether they've direct debited, whatever they've done, you come in here and go add and go, this customer Glass Edge has given me some money. Let's say they've given you $200. They did it via direct debit into my operating account, and it was for this invoice down here. Okay, so that invoice at the moment has got an amount paid of nothing, and that actual invoice is for much more than that. I think if we drill into it, it's for 300 and something. Yeah. Okay, so in this case, we're doing 2 things different. First of all, we're starting with a payment and just putting it in, and you could load in a whole bunch of documents here, right? You could load in lots of invoices that they're paying for. So that's one thing. And then the other thing we're doing is saying, well, they actually only paid us $200 for that invoice, not the full amount. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Just wondering, sometimes we receive payments and we see that the customer, they just put their reference as the invoice number. So how
Yep.
can I search that on the system?
So that's that number there. That's the original invoice number.
No, so you came to Glass Edge, but I want to see all invoices and search from there. For example.
Like you don't even know the customer, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So one way of doing that. So in this case, we know it's invoice number 2. So let's just grab that up. So if you just saw in your bank account that someone had paid invoice number 2, right?
Yeah.
You could come into here at this search box here and just punch in invoice number 2 and go to transactions, and it will go, okay, that's that invoice there, right? It searches the whole system essentially, right? So from there you could drill into it and go, okay, that's Glass Edge, and all the details of the invoice. Or you could go into receivables, invoices, and memos, and obviously the invoice numbers are going to be here too. So again, you could go up here and go, what invoice is number 2? So that'll work. I might just, rather than finish this, I might just delete that and throw through a couple more invoices so you can see if we had more than one. So I'm just going to take the Glass Edge one and create a couple more just for Glass Edge. So I won't worry about going through the shipping stage and stuff. You wouldn't do this in real life, but I'm just chucking in a couple of invoices to get us some more invoices in there. So don't do this. This is just a short way of getting some invoices in. All right, and one more, maybe with a different date. Okay, so this is a customer you deal with all the time, and there's a few outstanding invoices, right?
Yeah.
Let's make that a different number. So what's more likely in this case is that you're not going to come into an individual invoice and go pay, right? What's more likely is you're going to go receivables and go payments and applications. So we've received some money from Glass Edge, and they've given us, so it's a payment, and it's from Glass Edge, and it's a direct debit, and it's into our operating bank account. And then down the bottom, so let's say again they gave us $200. So down the bottom you have to go, well, what's it for? That should really be over here somewhere. Makes it a bit easier. Might just rejig this a little bit for you. You probably don't need line number. You don't need project. You don't need accounts. Let's put due date in. All right, so I'll just tidy this up a bit. Let's get rid of everything past due date. All right, so something a bit more simple like that, and I'll just share that column configuration out, sorry, while I'm here, so that it's done for you guys. All right, cool. So the Glass Edge direct deposit into our account, into our operating account. They've given us $200, but in actual fact, what they've got on their account is, $400 in invoice and a few other ones, right? So you do need to say, well, they're paying that one, right? So there's $99 applied, so it's still 101 to go. They're paying that one, okay, and they're paying that one, but there's not enough to pay that last one, okay? So we're $32 over what we need to be, so that's not going to work for us. So on here, there's $51 remaining, so they're paying $51 of that last invoice, and then that one's going to be partly paid. Okay, that one's not being paid at all, and these two here are being fully paid. Okay, so the balance of 0.
if we click on the, for example, the amount paid, if we click that on that one, it's not allocating automatically.
No, you can have it.
You have to click the box here. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 98% of the time, people ask me not to allocate automatically. There is a setting so that you can, and it'll go oldest first. But the problem's going to be like they'll pay something and you've got a disputed invoice or something, and it's going to automatically pick that one up because it's oldest and that sort of stuff.
No, I don't mean that. So if I go to the invoice, which one is it? I just click on the box that amount paid. I just click on that. Is it allocating the payment on that one, or I have to click the box?
No, so let's start it again. So I'll just delete this one. So we'll start it again. So glass edge up here.
Yeah.
That's who's given us the stuff. You do need to say how they paid you.
Yeah.
And what bank account they paid into.
Yeah.
And then how much. So $300.
$300.
Okay. So that's the first bit.
Yeah.
And then at the moment we've got applied to documents, nothing. So we haven't ticked anything down here.
Yeah.
So just ticking it on the left-hand side means it's going to go that one, and it's going to move the full amount, if it can, to the amount paid column.
Yeah.
Okay, so $99. And I can tick that one. It's going to move the full amount over there as well. And now we're at $148.
You can adjust the payments based on amount paid as well. I can put $50 on the 98, for example.
Yeah. You can just...
Yes, yeah. So you could say, well, that one's not fully paid.
Yeah.
You could say they're only paying $60 of that one. Okay. And then you can either leave the bit remaining. So you might go, I don't know what that 109 is for, because sorry, I'll just bring those documents back in. Because, you know, is it for that one, or is it for this one, or whatever? And then but basically you've got $300 up here to put against whichever invoices.
So for example, I've allocated it to the wrong invoice and I've saved it. Can I go back to that payment?
Once you've released it, so saving it's fine. You could save that, come back to it later. But once it's released, it's going to start closing documents because, for example, these two now are going to be fully paid, right? So it's going to change statuses of documents and stuff. So you're going to have to unallocate it if you've done it wrong and you only realize sort of later on.
So we need to reverse the payment?
No, I think just reallocate it. Let's do it. So at the moment, what's happening is my $300 is fully paying these two and then partly paying these two. Okay.
Okay.
So if I release that, so first thing is if I go to receivables and go to customer details, I will see here. So if I click show all documents, I'm going to have that payment, which is closed. Okay.
Travis, you frozen.
Have I?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do about that.
Now you're back on.
Okay. So this payment is closed because it's fully applied to a couple of invoices. Okay. The only way a payment would not be closed is if you received in an amount of money and didn't apply it to something or didn't fully apply it. Okay. That would remain open.
Yeah.
These two invoices are both open because they're not fully paid. And these two invoices are closed because they are fully paid. Okay. So that's the situation at the moment. And if I click on here, that's going to remove any old documents. So that's the toggle between old ones and new ones.
What I've noticed with this system, you can't actually allocate dates. Say, for example, I want to see an order made between the 1st of July to the 1st of August. Do I have the option to do that, Miss?
Yeah. So every single column here, you can filter on. Okay. So if I go here, show me stuff that's from today.
Oh, to and from. Okay.
Yeah, to and from, but also today. So these ones here should stay, and that one on the 8th disappears.
Okay.
Yep, so every single column can do that. Let's just clear that filter. So if you wanted to unapply something, right? So this one here has a payment against it and it's closed at the moment. You'd have to go into the invoice. I think it's in the invoice, and go to application. So that's the payment that's applied to that invoice.
Reverse.
No, that's not the right one.
Maybe
you have
press
to come
on the payment.
Yeah, maybe you have to come at it from the payment side. Application, so that payment is applied to those. Yeah, here we go. So reverse application. So if I come in here and went, actually, that's not for this one, the 84. Let's just see where we're at with the 84 one. Yeah, so at the moment that 84 one's closed, right? 84. If I say actually it wasn't for that one, and I reverse the application, so I didn't have to void the payment or anything, and then just release that.
Stop. Sorry,
Oh.
Travis, you froze again. Now though, you're on the payment now. What do we do?
Okay, so all I had to do was click the one I wanted to do and press reverse application.
Okay, you've frozen again.
Don't know what to do
I just
about
want
that.
to see this one. I need to see it. How you go back. Okay.
So it's called reverse application. And what I had to do was just highlight the invoice that I wanted to unapply and click on this reverse application button.
And what happens to the 8470 then?
Yeah, so the payment itself still exists. And if we go back now to this screen, okay, so this is what it was like a minute ago because I haven't refreshed it yet. So this payment was closed and this invoice was also closed. If I refresh it now, they both come back to open, okay? So this payment still has $84 left for me to do something with, and this invoice is still owes $84. So I could then potentially put that payment against that invoice instead, or whatever it is I want.
And how do you go to do that? How do you do that?
So if I drill into that payment and go, actually, that invoice is supposed to be applied to how do I do that? Here, documents to apply. That's the one. Yep, so documents to apply. I can click add on here. And I can go, actually, that one was supposed to go against this big invoice, right? So I can click on that. So the full $87 is going against that big invoice. So if I release that and then come back to here, my payment is going back to closed because it's fully dealt with. This remains open because we didn't touch it. And this one here has more against it. Okay, but it's still not enough to close it. So it's still open as well.
Okay.
I feel that things like reversals and corrections and stuff like that, I usually say to people, look, I'm going to show you what you're going to do 90% of the time. And then those 10% parts, just give us a call and we'll do them together when they happen. Because otherwise it just gets a bit too much information, too overloady. The other thing is that we'll copy onto test again soon. And then you've got another environment to do things in. What I do encourage you.
If I want to go now and just pretend like I've got orders and stuff like that, just to get a feel of, so next time we meet, if I have any other questions about it, which one do I go on? Do I go on the test?
Live. No, going live. We're doing stuff in live. So in fact, the next part of this whole process is for you to be comfortable that it's working properly. So you really do need to go into live and throw some transactions through. I don't know that we're doing user acceptance testing documents at the moment. Certainly used to. Do you know, Katrina, if that's a thing?
Well, we should be getting you to sign off that you're happy for UAT and to go live. I will try and dig one up.
Yeah, sometimes we give you quite a detailed UAT. I don't think it's necessarily.
Yeah, Travis, you said you were going to send me those. Those ones to do. You said you've done a whole heap of them.
Yeah, so in here, right, in your Dropbox, there's a thing called sign-off documents and there's one called UAT, right? So in the past, we have certainly gone, says Access on it. We've said to our customers, you need to go through this and go, maybe that's the wrong one. Hang on, it's the other one, this one. You need to go through this line by line and go, where are we? Can I create a new customer? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do that? And Sean Kenny used to be really hot on getting this signed off. He doesn't seem to care anymore, so I'm not sure what we're doing with that. I mean, you're more than welcome to do this. If you put in the effort, it will certainly make you go live smoother, okay? Because you will have had a tick list to go through things. And it does prompt you for, all the things you should be trying to do. And then you'll go, oh, I tried to do that. I couldn't for whatever reason, okay? So I do encourage you to do it this way. But I think, Katrina, there is another document where we basically say, if you want to sign this that says you don't need UAT, then that's fine too.
This might be a good guide, even though it's got Access on it. Ron, are you comfortable to use this sign off? That's this form?
Yeah, I'll go through it, and if I have any questions, but still, we still have to do inventory. We have to do inventory still. Please, I need to know the adjustments.
Yeah, cool. So let me just. All right,
I feel like we're pretty good with making orders, doing payments, suppliers, things like that. Like that, we've done that many times. So
cool. Okay, so technically we're kind of running out of time, but I don't have a meeting after this. So if you want to go a bit longer, I'm happy to. I don't know if Katrina can or not.
I've got a meeting at 12. But Travis, has Rania got that? Is that in the Dropbox?
Yes, yep. It's in sign off
right,
forms.
I might get you to send me a copy as well. Ciao.
Do you have access to my Dropbox?
I don't think so.
Look, we can.
I'm happy for you too.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna need probably one more, at least another training session. We can do that. Have a look at that.
Okay. Well, if you want to, we can call that now and then do another one tomorrow or something about inventory. Up to you guys.
Can we do it Wednesday?
As long as we're not first thing in the morning, we can do it Wednesdays. So about 11ish, if that's all right.
11, yeah, I'll be done by 1.
Yep. So let's do one for 11
right.
for inventory and any other questions you've come up with. If you can have a little bit of a play, that would really be good.
All right. I can't make Wednesday, but I'll make the booking. So 11 till 1 on inventory. Yeah.
So let's call it inventory and questions from testing, so that we know that you guys have done at least a little bit of testing. All right.
All right. And then, Rani, I was saying to Shiva, for the payroll, Jane has sent an email through on the 24th. So once you respond with those answers, she'll need a day to set up, and then I can book in your payroll training.
I half the things I don't even know what she means. I actually read into it. But what's a liability account? It's not our liability.
There's a recording. If you want to reach the recording for the session.
Do you want me to get her to give you a call so you can go through them?
Yeah, because I actually don't get why it would be under our liability account.
All right. I'll get Jane to reach out to you so you can go through them. Yeah? All right, and I'll book that session.
In regards to the recordings, is there any way that we can download them out from that or not?
I'm going to leave that with Katrina. I think just put them on YouTube. That's what I would do. If you can't get them any other way, just create a.
How would I do that?
I don't know how to do that, but I don't know how to do that, but we'll try and find someone that does know how to do that.
I know how to do that. Let's have a quick chat after this, Katrina, and we can come up with a plan, because this seems to be an ongoing problem, and it might be for other clients as well. So
okay.
Maybe we'll create ourselves a little YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Someone else subscribe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You can be our one subscriber. All right. Cool. So
hey, you make money on these subscriptions, okay? People are millionaires because of this.
I think you need more than one subscriber though.
Sorry, I'll spread the word.
Yeah, so all right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out the sales order with allocation, why that didn't stop me from shipping. And Katrina and I will just have a quick chat now,
Okay.
if you're happy to do that, Katrina. And we'll
But
figure out a
other than that,
YouTube
sorry,
thing.
just quickly, what's up? So are you comfortable? You think that it's ready, this program's ready to go live, right? So
As no, well, sort of. I think the system will function certainly well enough for you to go live. Yep, and it might need some little tweaks around the edges. I need to be happy that. Well, I don't need to be happy really, but
yeah, you just want to know that we know how to use it before.
Yeah. That's out of my control. I don't know how good. You've never seen you clicking things and doing your own invoices. You know, if you're happy, I'm happy. Is basically what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, sounds great.
It's close. Ronnie,
cool.
I've just sent that meeting request. Can you just confirm you've got that?
You got a Dropbox?
No,
the
the meeting request in Outlook for Wednesday.
Yeah, now we just got it now.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
All right,
That's
perfect. Thank you.
All right, and then we'll try and work out how we can send you through the recordings.
All right,
And
thanks so much.
I'll-
Anything?
And I'll get Jane to contact you about that email.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, ladies.
Do you want to do that
Thank
now,
you.
Katrina?
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
Or? Yeah,
Thanks.
we'll just
See
end
ya.
the call. See you
See
guys.
you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, cool. Let's start the recording.